A very warm welcome back. Of course, we've just got an update on that crucial toss between Sangakkara and MS Dhoni, the two captains of India and Sri Lanka. And Sri Lanka have won the toss and Sangakkara, of course, has elected to bat first. Let's get an insight from both our experts now. Srinath, go ahead.
You could see the butterflies in the stomach. Even the match referee couldn't call it right after the toss. Anyway, Sangakkara has won the toss and predictably in a big game, the biggest stage today, the final, I think certainly winning the toss and batting first would be the ideal thing. And Sangakkara has gone ahead with it. And Dhoni has got no other choice now. Chasing down those runs in the final is going to be it.
Mr. Ram, while that toss was going on, you had quite an opinion there. So if you mind voicing that now.
I wanted India to chase in this game, you know, call it gut feel or whatever. I somehow feel that we are better at defending. Today, we will be better at chasing than defending a total. And supposing you don't put up a good enough total batting first, defending it becomes a huge challenge. And I believe the Sri Lankans are good chasers. So I think we are better off chasing. We have a target in mind. And let's hope for the best.
Well, Sri Lanka might be good at chasing, but are we good at restricting? That's a different perspective altogether, isn't it?
Well, now looking at the wicket, now they would certainly have a plan on course saying what would be a par score for this game. Certainly, you know, anything under 5 in a final could certainly be chaseable. And we also need to look into the combination of the Indian side. As I said, the wicket up front is going to assist the faster bowlers. And if India can get a couple of wickets up front, because the top order of Sri Lanka is what is in form. And the middle order has not been tested at all. So you never know. Could be a low scoring game wherein India could come up trumps with this. All depends on how the new bowlers are going to operate in this first session.
All right, we're going to start taking callers now. Our viewers, of course, have been very interested to know what our experts have to say about this upcoming clash, really, India versus Sri Lanka. So our first caller is Minnie. Minnie, if you can hear me, go ahead and ask your question.
Yeah, definitely. Hi. Blue noon to everybody. Hope India wins this. And since 1983 calendar and 2011 calendar are the same, I want Dhoni and his crew to get the cup. Hello, sir. So what's the possibility of India's winning?
I think you're banking more on your astrology and numerology rather than the faith in the Indian cricket team. Well, I think, Minnie, you made a valid point. I think April 2nd was the day when we won the World Cup in 1983, and today again is April 2nd. But touchwood, this Indian team has done really well consistently, and today is the biggest stage. And I have full confidence in the Indian team. I think they'll certainly pull it off today.
Well, I'm terribly sorry to disappoint you as well as Mr. Srinath, but it was actually June 25th of 1983 that we won that World Cup, captained by, of course, the great Kapil Dev. So we're moving on now to a very special story. We will be getting more callers coming into the show. One cannot imagine the feeling of what happens to the players who face the first ball or the ones who bowl it. Now, here's a look at the key openers of both teams against the key fast bowlers. Take a look.
Sachin Tendulkar may be the god of cricket, but Lasith Malinga is the current master of Yorkers. This battle between the two Mumbai Indian players is surely going to be the highlight of the World Cup final. Malinga has got Sachin twice in 13 ODIs and twice in 2 tests. Pity he does not play the longer version of the game. Malinga has virtually given up on test cricket, but as a bowler in the shorter version of the game, he's truly lethal. He's the only bowler in the world to get 4 wickets in 4 balls. Now the question is whether Malinga's lucky kissing routine will work in the World Cup or not. So will it be Sachin going out on a high or Lasith putting another highlight to his name? Speaking of highlights, and Zaheer Khan has some as well for the World Cup. Not just in his hair, but also with how special his bowling has been. Zach will be looking to zap Dilshan to increase his wicket tally, while the Dulscoop man will want to finish as the leading run scorer. Zaheer has got Dilshan 5 times in 27 ODIs and 2 times from 6 tests. In this World Cup, Zaheer is the second highest wicket taker with 19 wickets, and Dilshan is the highest run getter, 3 runs ahead of Sachin. Dilshan sure is Sri Lanka's Sehwag. Remember when he got 160 against India a year ago? That's when Sri Lanka fell 3 runs short of chasing India's massive total of 415. Hopefully Dilshan's Pallu scoop comes up short against Viru's Upar cut.
Let's bring in another caller now who is waiting on the line, of course. Deepthi, if you can hear me, go ahead and ask your question to our experts.
Yeah, good to everybody.
Both India and Sri Lanka are equally consistent and equally powerful. So, who will be the key player?
What's the question? Can she repeat?
She says, who will be the key player?
Key player in India.
I think I've been saying Virendra Sehwag is a key because he gives such blasting starts. And of course, everybody else is equally important. There's no question of ignoring the other batsmen. But I think a blazing start by Sehwag when India bat, I think will help a lot. And of course, Srishant is a key figure as well because he's just come in. And the kind of bowler that he is, he can either win the match for you or go for a lot of runs.
All right, now speaking of which, Srishant, of course, being included, R. Roshan not being included, Srishant, what kind of energy will he bring to the squad?
Well, as I've said,
and I particularly mean energy.
He's going to bring in a lot of energy. It has to be looked at whether it's going to be positive or is it going to get in some negative energy into the side. Certainly, he's a sort of a cricketer who gets pumped up for the big stage, be it any game. Certainly there's going to be a lot of verbal talk going on. He's going to get at the batsman. As I've said, it's going to be make or break for Srishant. Either he can get you those couple of quick wickets up front or he's going to go for runs. So that's all Srishant can be. He's not going to be a sort of bowler who's going to restrict those runs. Let's hope Dhoni's got a magic wand in his hand saying that Srishant is going to get those couple of wickets for him at the start of his spell.
All right, now considering Srishant has played only one match, didn't perform very well, and then Dhoni decided to leave him out and of course plays the rest of his bowlers very well. Harbhajan has not budged, simply, quite literally has stayed in the squad. He has been at the top of the list in terms of the economy bowling figures, of course, with 4.41 if I'm not wrong. So Budgie right now, his crucial element would be to take wickets or just keep the economy rate going well for India?
I think at his best in this tournament, he has taken a crucial wicket. He's not been among the wickets a lot, but he's taken some very vital wickets. So if he does that, that's good enough for India. If he can dismiss the Dilshan or whoever, the man in form, I think he'll do a good job. And I think he's also restrictive, which you need in a side like this where you don't have too many restrictive bowlers. And you can't expect him to suddenly become a Muralidharan in this tournament.
Okay.
So I think going by what he has done so far, I think he'll be mainly restrictive and maybe get you one or two important wickets.
All right, so mainly restrictive, which is what he's been consistent with so far. If you just compare the two bowling sides of these two teams, who do you think is more balanced?
Well, I think Sri Lanka has a edge as far as balance goes in, because you've got Lasith Malinga to start with, and Nuwan Kulasekara is certainly a handful when he bowls with the new ball. And of course, you've got the wily Muralidharan, and Suraj Randeep is a tall off spinner who can extract some good bounce. I think they've got 4 good frontline bowlers who can do the job for you. But as far as variety goes, you look at the Indian bowling side, they've got a left-arm seamer in the wake of Zahir Khan. They've got Munaf Patel, who's bowled steadily throughout this tournament. And of course, Srishant has come in now with his pace and swing. And of course, we've got Harbhajan Singh, who's the key bowler. Plus, of course, everybody is missing out. I reckon this Indian team's main spinner has been Yuvraj Singh, bowling his left armers really well. So I think he'll also play a huge crucial factor. As far as variety goes, I think India has the edge. But in the wake of balance, I think Sri Lanka looks a balanced bowling attack.
All right, picking up from where Srinath left off, of course, with Angelo Matthews now being left out. And if Muralidharan, of course, doesn't perform to you know, the heights that he usually does, especially since he hasn't through this World Cup. It's just been sort of on an average level in terms of the wicket taking as well. So if Muralidharan is left out on injury, if he has to step out on injury, which is quite likely considering he's had hamstring injuries, groin injuries, terrible troublesome knee, etc., etc., how much of a blow is it going to be for Sri Lankan bowling?
I don't know the 11, but I think Murali will play. As somebody said, if he can walk, he'll play this game. The other Murali said. But Indians play him better than most. I think they play him rather well. And I think Malinga and Mendes are the key bowlers for Sri Lanka because of their remarkable accuracy and, you know, wicket-taking ability. I think they are the key bowlers for Sri Lanka. And Murali, of course, is an old war horse who would like to go out in style. I don't see him missing this game under any circumstances. He'll play.
All right, we have yet another caller waiting on the line. I'm not going to keep you waiting any longer, so you can go ahead and ask your question.
Hello.
Mr. Srinivasan, if you can hear me.
Yes, sir.
Yes, you can go ahead and ask your question now.
Is it the right choice to drop Ashwin? I think Dhoni.
Is it the right choice to drop our Ashwin
Yeah.
is the question now? Well,
Yes, sir.
definitely true blue Chennaiite asking that question.
Well, it's a good question to answer. I think the best person to answer this would be Dhoni alone. But we discussed this also in the semi-finals when they played Pakistan. And I thought picking Nehra ahead of Ashwin, we all thought it was a wrong choice. But in the end, Nehra came up trumps and he did really bowl well. And Dhoni looks like he's had this plan of going in with 3 fast bowlers and 1 spinner. So I think the only option left for Dhoni to replace Nehra was with Sreesanth. Otherwise, I don't find any other reason for Dhoni to go in favor of Sreesanth ahead of Ashwin.
All right, Srinivasan, I hope that question was well answered. But let's take a look at the head-to-head between India and Sri Lanka. Both teams have faced each other in 128 matches. India have won 67 and lost 50. And now some more interesting stats in the World Cups. Sri Lanka lead India 4 games to 2 at the Wankhede. They are tied at 1 games each. And now to take a look at both the captains and really how they figure facing each other. Here's a look at that now. Dhoni has captained his side in 100 games so far and has won 58 of those encounters and lost 35 of them. And Kumar Sangakkara has captained his side, Sri Lanka, in 43 matches. He has won 26 of the matches and lost only 13. Well, those are the stats that we have going really for both those captains and the teams, of course. Kumar Sangakkara hasn't played as many as Dhoni has, but he hasn't lost too many either, 13 matches only so far. So really, in terms of confidence, in terms of the fact that both are the first time World Cup captains and also wicket-keeping captains together, that is classic, isn't it?
Yeah, certainly. For the first time, I think 2 wicket-keeper captains featuring against each other in the World Cup. And as far as the head count goes, I think more or less it's just the experience that Dhoni has as a captain is what is going to matter rather than the numbers. I think you look at the percentage, both of them have 50 plus as an average of wins and losses as such. But you look at it, I think Dhoni in a match situation as a captain, I think he would have handled far more situations than Sangakkara. So I think that's the only thing, and more than anything, Dhoni, everybody knows the sort of calmness and the sort of aura he carries around himself as a cool captain. I think that would really stand in good stead for him as far as this final game goes.